F5 queen sacrifice. Alright, here we go. This game between Nicole Vanish Russo versus an unknown player, the last move from black was knight to h4. Nicole proceeded with king to g3. This game happened a long time ago, 1887. Captured the pawn, having ideas of knight to e1, queen to g2, checkmate or leads to a fork. Nicole brought back his queen and he continued with his idea. Right about here, Nicole uncoked a brilliant move. Pause the video if you need it to find the brilliant move. I'll be waiting for you. Yes, the brilliant move is knight to g5 check. He takes and you give a check and the king moves to h8. Can you spot the checkmate? The reason behind sacrificing the queen on g5. Yes, beautiful. It is bishop to b2. And yes, the rook can block, but then it eventually leads to checkmate. But just to show what would have happened if white didn't come up with this brilliant move, this game is already leading to a mate. Let's say white plays this, you can see there's check and this is checkmate for sure. And if the white king goes to h4, you can simply give a fork, but our idea is not a fork as he goes up and this is equally mate with fine. Kudos to that brilliant queen g5 checkmate. This game played between Westerner and Gregory in 1994. Westerner as white and Gregory as black. In this game, Gregory proceeded to play rook to e1, hitting away the queen. The queen moved to d6, threatening a mate in 1. Westerner can defend with either rook to h3 or either g3. Either way is sort of fine. But in this position, Westerner chose to defend with rook to h3. And now I want you to pause the video if you need it to find the queen sacrifice. I'm sure the title of my video kind of gives it away and you're all fired up shouting queen to h2. Actually, this doesn't work. Because the moment you take, give a check with your knight, the king moves, you give a check with the king, the rook comes up and take with your bishop. I'm sure this is what you are thinking. But come on, let's rewind a bit. You missed that when you give a check, you can't really give a check with your bishop because the queen is everly active to capture. So this line doesn't work. Let's go back and look for a line that actually works. Can you find it? Yes. Bravo for those that found it. The line that actually works is rook to a1, kind of deflection sacrifice. The moment the queen takes, you can now proceed with the variation I showed you earlier, and this is definitely now checkmate. How brilliant is this? If you have enjoyed the video so far, please like, share and subscribe. It really helps me, encourages me and makes YouTube push out my content to more audience. Thank you very much for doing that. This game was between David Jaworski, the Queen's Gambit Decline versus Frederick Samish. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing the name wrongly. Jaworski was white and Frederick was black. Jaworski was known for his famous Queen's Gambit Decline. Forgive me if the rain is interrupting the sound. Frederick was known for his King's Indian variation. Jaworski proceeded to play, d takes e5. Yes, you might assess this position as the two bishops are pointing towards the king's side. The rook can swing into the attack with g3. Pawn sits on e3 and makes itself known, but this position is simply a draw, at least by 1925 when they played the game. And Jaworski proceeded to capture. Frederick captured back and Jaworski captured, hitting his queen and having all sorts of ideas of attack on the king. Frederick thought for a moment, this position is really not that bad as white's king is still in the center. He can exploit the queen and the king being on the same e5, and so he played bishop to d6 with the idea of later playing rook to e8, pinning white's queen to white's king. Now I want you to pause the video if you need it and find the brilliance white came up with. And yes, I know it's a queen sacrifice. Queen to b6, yeah, no. Queen to h6. This move is a killer move. It has all sorts of nasty threats and unpleasant lines for black. Definitely can't capture the bishop as queen to h7 is checkmate. You still can't capture the queen as then rook to g3 is also checkmate. You still can't play a move like rook to e8 you intended to play previously because this is checkmate. And this queen sacrifice is out of this world. Well, if it's of any importance to you, the best move is f6. And as the game proceeded, it took the bishop, the queen took back, Jaworski gave a check and Frederick moved the king up. He gave another check with the bishop blocked, and he took queen to h5 check, hitting the king and also hitting the bishop. Jaworski proceeded to win this game. The 3. If you think this example is massive, I need you to show it to me by hitting the like and possibly the subscribe button. Let's move over to the next. Alright, this is second on our list. This game is between Richard Reti, the founder of the Reti Opening, versus Sobeli Tatolua. Quick story, there was actually a thing about this in the Queen's Gambit where Elizabeth beat the teacher Mr. Gangs. Yeah, the Queen's Gambit actually a good chess movie to watch. This position arose out of a Corocan, and here white proceeded to capture the pawn on e5, and that is where black decided to give a check to the king and pick up the pawn. This move at the surface looks like a very deadly move. It attacks the b2 and also attacks the knight on e4. Prettiest decided to set a little trap by castling. Tatalo saw that if he takes this knight with his queen, there's this rook to e1 and unpleasant stuff, so he decided to capture it with his knight, and this is where the queen sacrifice came in. I'm sure you have seen it by now. Queen to d8 check, and definitely the king must capture, and there's this double discovered check with the bishop and also with the rook. Now if you go here, it's definitely lost. So what Tatolua did in the game was he went here with the king, and even this isn't still safe as it's checkmate. How cool is this? Magnus. Now the last on our list is, wait for it, Magnus. Yes, the last on our list is Magnus versus Karyakin 2016. This sacrifice made Magnus the champion for the third time. Became the third time chess champion due to this sacrifice, and the game proceeded with queen to f4. Karyakin gave a check to the king, and definitely you are not about to play this as this and this. It will be checkmate. So Magnus, played professionally, tuck and roll situation, put his king on h1, and here Karyakin played this threatening mate in 1. Now yes, you can play rook to g1, playing defensively, but no, Magnus said no. The god said no. I'm gonna attack and take the fight to my opponent, Magnus. Rook to c8 check. Karyakin can go bishop to f8, a mate in 7, top player stuff. Even I can't see the mate in 7. He didn't take his bishop back, but rather played king to h7. Yes, this is a famous mate, probably seen a couple of times, and if you haven't seen it, here you go. But if you have seen it previously and you really didn't understand it, I'm going to break it down as well, because I myself didn't understand it the first time I saw it. Queen to h6. Oof! Someone shout Magnus. Queen to h6, and this them is just mind blowing. Regardless of where the king goes or what you take the queen with, this is checkmate. G takes h6, rook to f7, checkmate. King takes h6, rook to h8 is still checkmate. Chess is wide, guys. Chess is wide. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, please share, please subscribe. Till my next video, stay sharp, stay smart. See you very, very soon.